Philosophy comes from the Greek word philosophia, love of wisdom. And the question is, what kind of wisdom are we talking about? And the fact of the matter is, the kind of wisdom that we're talking about really has changed over the course of the year. And the best way over the course of the years, since philosophy got started in ancient Greece. And way of really understanding what's changed in terms of the scope of philosophy is by taking a look at what I put on this slide, Kingsborough Community College, Brooklyn, circa 2011. Do you guys know what circa means? Circa is around, like circular, around 2000. Just trying to give you a time frame. So if we take a look, what I've done here is I've taken all the subjects that are taught at Kingsborough, and I've kind of lined them up in three columns, starting mathematics, biology, chemistry, philosophy, First column, accounting, art. And when you look at it, we have lovers of wisdoms. We have people with PhDs in all of the subjects that we see. PhD, Doctor of Philosophy. They are lovers of wisdom. So isn't it a little bit arrogant of philosophers to think, they're the lovers of wisdom? Plato thought it's the guys in his discipline that were the guys who really should be called philosophers, lovers of wisdom. Well, we really have to kind of step back a little bit. And what I want to do is bring you to the next slide, which is, let's see if I can get there. Kingsborough Community College, Athens, circa around 400 BC, to really understand what we were talking about when philosophy got started back in the days before Plato and Aristotle and Plato's teacher Socrates. And we'll be learning more about those guys. I'll actually have a slide at the end of this set of lectures on it. But if you take a look at what was studied then, mathematics, there really wasn't a subject, but certainly people learned stuff about mathematics. Then things like biology, chemistry, marine biology, philosophy, physics, political science, psychology were really things that were studied when they were studied all together, and they really were the wisdom. That was what philosophy was called. In fact, if we think a little bit further, philosophy really encompassed all the sciences, certainly in ancient Greece, and even until fairly recent times. If we go back 300-400 years to Sir Isaac Newton. I hope you guys have heard of Sir Isaac Newton. Remember, he's the guy, the apple hit on his head, discovered gravity, discovered the laws of motion, and he also invented everybody's favorite course at Kingsborough, calculus. I know you guys love math, that's why I brought it up, or at least there are a few of you who are having some difficulty with math. But Sir Isaac Newton, great scientist, excuse me. Do you know what he occupied a chair in a major university in England? Do you know what his chair was in? It was in natural philosophy, the sciences. As late as the 1600s, 1700s were known as natural philosophy. Even though things had really changed, we already had the scientific revolution, and things like biology and chemistry, well, that really was science in general, were starting to become disciplines of their own. But going back to ancient Greece, they were all part of philosophy. If we look at the next column of subjects that we study today, you can see I've put them in another blue box, and it says apprentice. That is, you learn by being apprentice, kind of the way you'd learn a trade today, a plumber, an electrician, carpenter, not taught in school. And then in the last column I put the subjects that didn't exist back in ancient Greece: alcohol and substance abuse. I'm sure there were people that abused alcohol and substance, but it wasn't taught as a kind of counseling program. Anthropology, I don't think they were digging things up, trying to figure out about the origin of the human species. Biotechnology, that was computer information systems. That's right. These things that you're listening to me on did not exist. The technology did not. All of these things did not exist in those days. So here is the way philosophy got started. When it was the love of wisdom, when you look at it, all of the wisdom, all of the knowledge that existed was lumped together in philosophy. The philosophers really studied not only the questions of philosophy, but the questions of science, the questions of general knowledge. Now I want to turn to we're getting an idea of what philosophy is. We see about how the scope has kind of changed over the years, but there's something unique about philosophy, and I want to now turn to that. So we'll start that in the next segment.